Hey there, everybody. It's been about a week or so since I've done one of these, and I've had a lot on my mind lately. You know, just about the people you surround yourself with and the team that you would like to build while moving forward, and having the type of people that will support you through thick and thin, regardless of what others say, because they base the judgment that they have on you on their own experiences and their own interpretations. Unfortunately, 90% of the people in the town that I live in don't necessarily form their own conclusions to where you're at in your life or where you have come from. I've been labeled a violent thug. I've been labeled a drug addict piece of shit. I've been labeled no good, this, that, and the other. That my father, who is a very prominent attorney in not only the Northeast Michigan area, but the state of Michigan in general. And for some reason, people seem to think that I get out of trouble because of who my father is. If that was the case, why am I a 4-time felon? Why do I have 10 misdemeanors, 5 of which are high court 1-year misdemeanors? Why have I spent just over 23 months out of the last 30 now incarcerated? I don't understand where this perception that just because my father is who he is and the family that I come from, for some reason I am above the law, because that is nowhere near correct. Something I've been thinking about a lot lately is, how do you build a team of people around you that will motivate you to do the right things? I've said it several times. How do you expect to live a positive life surrounded by negative people? You can't. You can't put yourself in a position where you let the negativity of others affect the positive outlook that you have in life. And it doesn't just come down to those negative people around you. It comes down to the negative mindset that you put yourself in. And that is a position in my life that I no longer want. I no longer want to have those type of people in my life to where they are able to bring me down, to where they are able to bring me back to the level that they are at. Because at the end of the day, they are very uncomfortable with where their life is now in comparison to where mine has headed. I talked to several people lately, and I don't think that they seem to understand that I was the type of person that was not afraid to pull a gun on you. I was not afraid to break your jaw to the point where you could not talk to me for 3 to 6 months. I was not afraid to pull a trigger. I was not afraid to go out and sell dope. I was not afraid to be feared. And that comes with living a street/gang lifestyle. Most people never make it back out of that situation once they're put in it. Fortunately for me, I was able to make it back out. And the team that I had built around me at that time was nothing but drug dealers, murderers, double-digit felons on their own records in that regard. People that have spent time in federal penitentiaries, state penitentiaries for a very long time. And that's where my life was headed. That's where my life was headed. For a long time, from the age of 20, I never thought I'd make it to see 22 years old. Here we are in 2017. I'm just over a month and a half away from my 25th birthday. And I look at it and I say, hey, where has the last 5 years gone? Where has the last 7 years gone since I got out of high school? And the answer is drug addiction. Drug addiction, bad influences, selling dope, robbing people, snorting thousands of dollars worth of cocaine, snorting thousands of dollars worth of pills, smoking tens of thousands of dollars worth of weed. I mean, it just comes down to that when you look back, you say, I had fun doing all that, but look where it took my life. Look where I am now. And that was because I built a team of people around me that, number one, would protect me, and number two, that would not judge me for getting high. Now I'm at a point where I want to build a team around me that will push me in the right direction, will continue to make sure that I stay on the right path, to continue to not let me go back to where I was, because they know how far I've come. I have so many people in my life that will sit here to this day and say, Britt, I am proud of you. I have seen so many different things in you now that I didn't think I would see. You know, I feel much more enlightened, much more knowledgeable on the disease of addiction and how it can affect someone's life in a very negative way. And once you are able to get clean, those positive effects and those positive people start to push into your life, whereas those negative people, those drug users, the drug dealers, the money getters, start to fade away because you are above them. I had a girl recently that I love with all my heart say some very, very, very disrespectful and hurtful things to me. And it comes up between me and some of the closest people in her life that they finally got to the point where they said, Britt, we know who you are. We know who she is. And she's nowhere near good enough for you. You need to continue to move forward without those negative influences always around you. Her being the number one reason that your life is not where you want it to be. And I look at things now as I know what my value is. And if you're not willing to accept me for the person that I am, the heart that I have, the things that I would be willing to do for you to continue to push in a positive direction, then you should not be around me. And it's been a very hard thing for me to have to accept that. How can a woman I've loved for over 8 years say and do the things that she has done to me? She was never on my team. There was always some sort of benefit to her. You know, they do say that the 5 people you surround yourself with the most are the person that you ultimately become, which is true. And for a long time, I didn't realize that. I didn't think that that was real. I thought it was horseshit. And I do not think that that is where my life is at today. Once you start to surround yourself with those positive people, once you cut those negative people and the negative aspects out of your life, things seriously start to change for you, and they will continue to move forward. Having someone in your life that will support you, along with you supporting yourself, is a great thing to have. Is something that most people that come from the gang / street life / selling dope / pulling guns on people / shooting bullets, driving down the road at other vehicles, don't understand, don't realize. I don't know how I'll make it out. I was extremely lucky to make it out of that lifestyle. And I look at it now and I do not want to go back. I do not want to be the person that stumbles. I realize that everyone stumbles at one point or another, regardless if they're a drug addict, regardless if they're a criminal, regardless if they are the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, regardless if they are a store owner, regardless if they are someone in recovery. Everyone stumbles. I stumble from time to time. But it's not that you stumble, it's how you pick yourself back up from that stumble and keep moving forward. You have to continue to look towards the future. You cannot look to the past. You know, there's a reason that God made the windshield bigger than the rear view mirror, because he wants you to focus on moving forward while also taking a glimpse backwards at the past that you have been in. And you know what? I have been trying to stay away from the past that I used to live. I have been trying to continue to move forward with where things should be, with how things should be, with what I want to accomplish. Once you set out a list of goals, short-term, long-term, extremely long-term, day-to-day goals, and you're able to achieve them, I don't think that anything will be able to stop you. It's also about having patience. You have to be able to have patience to understand that, hey, maybe I didn't get everything that I had set out to do today done. There's always tomorrow. God forbid he makes his appearance and takes you sooner than you expect. But at the same time, you have to keep moving forward. You cannot get stuck. Life will set those honeypots out there for you to where you're doing great and you get stuck in this honeypot where you're doing extremely well and then you're not able to get out. You're screwed. And that's a big thing that most people don't realize. Well, I'm doing great right now. I can do this. I can do that. I can go out and I can have that 4 or 5 beers at the bar and go home. No, you can't. Not if you're a recovering alcoholic. You know, you can't go out and, hey, I can smoke this blunt today, or, hey, I can shoot a couple of these pills, or, hey, I can snort this Xanax, or, hey, I can pop this Molly pill. No, you can't do that, because as an addict or an alcoholic, your mind is not wired the same as everyone else's, unfortunately. And you know what? People will say, well, I can do it from time to time and I can be all right. You might be able to start out going to the bar, having a couple of drinks here and there, and that might work for 2, 3, 4, 5 months. But then it's going to turn into, hey, I can have a couple of drinks at the bar. Let's go buy a 5th and head home. Or, hey, let's go get that 30-pack and I'll just have a few. And then by the end of the night, the 30-pack is gone and you're passed out naked on the floor, which is one of my experiences, actually. But it's just something that people don't understand, that once you make it out of addiction and you're able to move forward from that addiction, it's going to be a struggle on a daily basis to stay clean, especially if you're not able to get away from all of those influences. I was talking to someone earlier that said, I have a friend that is prescribed Suboxone, and she takes them as prescribed, but I see her when she nods out, and it makes me miss it more than ever. You know what? It's hard to say that you're not going to miss using, that you're not going to miss snorting those pills, that you're not going to miss drinking that bottle, that you're not going to miss shooting up, that you're not going to miss popping Percocets and everything else that you can just use to get messed up. I struggle with it on a daily basis, but I continue to move forward because that is where my life needs to be. And if you're not willing to accept the fact that life is going to be difficult and you are going to have those moments where you will fall backwards and want to run to what that you will want to run to what is comfortable, then you're not going to make it. You have to make your new comfortable different from what it used to be. The old comfortable was, hey, I'm going to go get high so I don't have to feel any pain right now. The new comfortable would be, hey, how do I deal with this situation in a sober mind? How do I continue to keep pushing forward even though I'm in a position where I don't know what else to do? And it comes back to building a team around you. I understand that Narcotics Anonymous, Cocaine's Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous are not for everyone. They're not for me. I don't go to those type of meetings, but I do have a sponsor. I do have people I can call. I do have my church family. I do have my pastor at several different churches. I have very close people in my life. I have my mother. I have my father. I have my father's girlfriend. I have people that are extremely close to me that want nothing more than to help me succeed and to help keep me on the right path. You have to find those people that will push you and push you in the right direction, regardless of the cost, regardless of how much time it might take out of their day. They are there to help you. And once you are willing to accept that help, you have started to make a difference. You know, I said something about it. When someone belittles you, they are being little. And it's true. You cannot have someone in your life that tries to tear you down and tear you down and tear you down. Because at the end of the day, by them trying to tear you down, they are really very unhappy with their life. And they want to be able to make you feel as miserable as they do. And that's not something that I think is appropriate. But unfortunately, it's human nature. Not very many people from your old life, from my old life specifically, drug users, thugs, gang bangers, whatever. Once you're doing well, most of them are upset that they are not in the position that you are, that they are not able to be in the position that you are, because they're not ready to stop. They're not ready to be done with that lifestyle. And that lifestyle leads one of two places: prison for 25 to life or death in a pine box. And those roads were both where I was headed. I am no longer in a position where I am going to let that happen to me. I want the wife. I want the kids. I want the 2 cars in the driveway. I want the white picket fence. I want my pit bull. I want the things that we've dreamt about as children. I was talking to a girl today that has a child, and she said, I don't understand why my boyfriend doesn't want anything to do with our daughter. And I said, you know what? I don't understand it, because honestly, I'm not even saying hi to you first. I'm running to the baby. And I'm going to see how she's doing. And I'm going to play with her before I even say hello to you. And maybe that's a little bit selfish, but that's where I want to be. I love being around a little person that I can take care of and that I can be there for and that I can be an influence for in your life. And I think that that's what most people want. So when you look at building a team of people around you, you have to think, who deserves to be in my most inner circle in order to push me forward, in order to keep me on the right path? And once you build that team, you're building for success. I think about it like this. You can have one of the most talented football rosters in the country, but if you do not know how to work together as a unit, you will not be as successful as you can be. And I think that once people realize that when you get to a point where everything gels together and you have those significant and those constant people in your life to be able to keep pushing you and motivating you to want more and to not keep moving backwards and to always push forward regardless of the stakes, regardless of the trials and tribulations, regardless of where you've been, then you've found something extremely special. And I hope that every one of you out there finds something to that regard and to that extent. And I still haven't found that completely, but God has been a savior in my life, and the people that he has surrounded me with now have been nothing but helpful to me. And I am so happy that it is the way it is. I have several females in my life right now that I am trying to help. A couple of them are ex-addicts and they want to get high more than anything. But I am pushing them in the other direction because I don't think that it is the smartest thing for them. I don't think that it is the smartest thing for me. I wish I could go back to getting high. I've seen people get high. I don't want that life anymore. I have the willpower now to say, this is not worth where I have been. This is not worth throwing away all of the work I have done since July 10th of 2016. And once you get to the point where you realize that the work and the effort that you have put in to moving forward is so big and so inspirational and so influential that you will never want to go back, regardless of the stakes, regardless of the trials and tribulations, regardless of the loss, possibly family-related, best friends, death, murder, ODs, suicide, whatever it may be. You have to do it for them. You also always have to put yourself number one. You have to be the one to do it. It has to be for you. And I hope everyone realizes that nothing will change unless you want to change. You cannot try and do it for someone else. It may work for a short period of time, but in the long run, it will not completely work out. And that's where I was. I have finally decided I want this life for myself, and it has been working wonders. I hope everyone enjoyed the video tonight. I know I have a lot more of them coming. I hope you guys have a great week, and God bless.